Oh, have the turntables have turned. Oh yeah, baby. The New York Jets, the Giants, and even the Steelers come out with victories in this week 6 crazy NFL weekend. It felt like the underdog weekend. That's what it looked like. Atlanta beat San Fran. It was just a crazy, crazy weekend. A lot a lot to get into. This is JNC Podcast. Coming to you here today, baby. Let's get it rolling. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Um, all of our teams have won when we did not think they were gonna win. Each and every team won.
Yeah,
Um,
Vegas had
that
a bad day.
yeah, a terrible day. And there's a lot of excitement right now. I think when it comes to the Giants and even the Jets, I at this point you have to be, I think, all in. I think you have to be excited about the Giants, excited about the Jets, where they're going. The Giants seem like they can't lose. They end up coming back every time. Um, and it's just crazy. And let's get into the Giant conversation because I have an interesting question. So, Chris, I want to ask you a question. If I was to tell you that what one of these teams will have a total of 400 plus yards and the other team will have a total of 200 and something yards, who you think would have won the game?
The person with 400 plus yards.
Yeah, right. Like you would assume so, but apparently,
Hmm.
um, I obviously I'm asking because obviously the team with 400 total yards did not win the game. The Giants ended up winning, and they had a total of 200 and something yards, and it wasn't making sense. So the whole game, Baltimore was doing great. They were doing great on this in this game. They were involved. Their run game was good. You had Kenyon Drake had 10 carries for 119 yards. Mark Andrews was lighting up. Lamar Jackson was doing great. And then towards the end, all of a sudden you just see a comeback and you see Lamar throwing into Lamar then strip fumble from Kayvon Thibodeau, their first round pick, and now the Giants came back, come out of nowhere from a very slow game. Like I said, their total yards only 200 and something yards, and then they end up coming back and beating the Ravens. Um, literally, there's like nothing you can say anymore about this Giant team. They are resilient. They are resilient. They're really good. A good, decent defense. Um, I'm never gonna change my opinion that Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I just think he's manageable for this coaching staff. I will always have that opinion until proven otherwise. That's my only thing about him. I don't like him, but the Giants in general, great, great game. C, you want to talk about this game a little bit more in
Oh
depth?
yeah, that's just. I mean, what you say about Daniel Jones, he's not a good call. I mean, him to do it by himself, he can't do it. But what I do see is what he has proven is he's coachable. He's at least coachable,
No, he's coachable.
and he's able to do what he's told and keep this team in there with the coach's help to win the game. Um, the only thing that will hinder us with that in the long run, when it comes to a close game with an even better team, um, we need a quarterback who can do it on his own. Saquon is the guy. Saquon is just like he's back. I've been saying it every week. I'm loving him. I'm loving it. I really hope the Giants aren't stupid enough to let him go at the end of the year. But other than that, that's been the Giants game script these past 3 games or 2, 3 games that we've won in a row. Stay in it. The other team is putting up stats. They've been putting up numbers. The running backs are getting their numbers. People are getting their numbers, but the Giants have been great in the red zone. They haven't been letting points go in the red zone, and if it's anything going, most of the what people are scoring on the Giants are field goals, which are keeping the Giants in the game. And fourth quarter, there's a flip. There's a flip in the second half. There's a flip in the second half. The Giants are a totally different team, and the game is close enough for them to win it at the end. That's just been the last 3 games. So I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm loving Giants football. We just won the 2 hardest games in the next like this 5 or 6 game stretch that we have. So
Mhm.
that makes me very, very excited. So
Well, when we went over, our early schedules and what we thought would be wins and losses, for one thing, we didn't think Seattle would be as good as they are now. So now that Seattle matchup is actually might be your toughest matchup out of this 5 game stretch. Going to Jacksonville, that would be a little tough than what we expected, but still, the Giants have right now all you could talk about with the Giants is the playoffs because they are 5-1, and with this schedule, they can easily go 8-1. And it sounds crazy that this team only won 4 games last year or 5 games, and they already hit that number. Excuse me,
it
they
was
already
4.
passed
I
that
think it was
number.
4. Yeah, it was
Pretty sure
4.
it
We
was
won
four,
4.
and they already passed it. So, great job by the head coach. Great job by the staff. Fantasy wise, Saquon Barkley, amazing. But a good thing to point out, Wan'Dale Robinson came to this game, his first game as the Giants, healthy,
And
caught a
did pretty well.
touchdown, and he did pretty decent. I don't think there's much to expect. I think Dable's gonna get him involved because of the weakness in the Giants wide receiver room. So I think Wan'Dale Robinson, fantasy wise, is actually be really interesting to see how much they use him, how much they like him. Um, let's get into the the Jets and the Green Bay Packers. The Jets, it wasn't even a close score. We beat the crap out of them. That's how I see it. That's how everybody's been explaining it, and that's how I saw it from the beginning. And if the Jets would just to run that ball in for that 1 yard in that goal line, that's another touchdown that they would score instead of a field goal. They took the field goal because the game was already over anyways. But you know, whatever. But the game was awesome. Brees Hall is a monster. The guy is a difference maker. I just I can't believe that we got him in the second round. He was just a monster. Fantasy wise, I have him in one of my leagues, and I am just cheering this guy on. I can't wait to get his jersey because I am excited because Brees Hall is just that good.
He's that guy.
Sauce Gardner is that guy. He did great. He left the game because of a hit and then went to go check the concussion if he had a concussion. The moment Sauce left, Lazard got the touchdown on the opposite corner that came to fill in, and that's the only reason why Lazard gave you a good game. But that touchdown saved this good game. But for the most part, Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed are two amazing corners on his defense.
Yeah.
Quentin Williams, defensive line, that they hit Aaron Rodgers 11 times, I believe, or 9 times, and they sacked him 6, I believe. I'm not mistaken. So 3 to 4. I think it was 6 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. But they went after Aaron Rodgers every single play, and they only were rushing 4. If the Jets can do this type of defense, you're not going to need much from Zach Wilson. And literally, they won. And all he did was get the important first downs. He only threw the ball 18 times. He was sent for 18 for 110 yards. So he did his part. The Jets end up winning. You know, we talked about it last week. I wasn't expecting the Jets to win. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to come a lot better. Clearly, there's something wrong with Green Bay. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, the running backs that we thought were going to be on fire for fantasy is a complete bust at this point. I don't think you can think anything else. It's bad. So on the Green Bay side, what are you doing fantasy wise with AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones, and Aaron Rodgers, Chris? Like, what are you doing with those 3 guys? Those three guys has been very disappointing this whole season.
Um, I guess at this point you just try to sell low on them. Um, you're not gonna get anything really special for them. You know, it's it's getting to the point where like you can't trust them. Can you really start them? Because if you start them, they're just gonna um lose your games, your weeks. So it's very tough. I guess there's just not. I don't know if it's the coaching. I don't know if it's not having the receivers with Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know. At this point, you just try to sell low for them and see what you can get out of it.
Yeah, I mean it's literally been a disappointing Green Bay offense. They've been really
Mhm.
disappointing. And when I talked about this Jet game, I said our biggest weakness was the run game. They shut that run game and they slapped me with it. And they said, that's not our weakness. They shut down Aaron Jones and shut down AJ Dillon. You shut down two good running backs that are probably starting running backs in, they're probably a starting running back in any other team. It's like a full workhorse running back. So that was a great thing to see. Um, I loved every part of it. And right now with the Jets and Giants, all the talk right now is playoffs. I think the Giants I'm leaning a little bit more to them, more likely to make the playoffs. Their schedule is very easy, and they just did the hard part. So now their schedule gets really easy. They get Houston, they get Detroit, they get the Jaguars, they get Seattle, which, like I said, Seattle's a tougher matchup. Detroit don't have a defense. Dable is gonna have a game plan. Barkley is gonna destroy that defense. Giants have a nice schedule, but the Jets have Denver, they have New England, then they have Buffalo, then they have a bye week, and then it's New England again. So with it's a tough 4 game stretch. But with how I feel now, I am confident in all 3 of those games besides Buffalo. I think Buffalo is still another tier. Like that's not even close. But I am very confident that we could go to Denver and be a competitive team and maybe win. You beat Rodgers. So if out of this 4 game set, if you go 2-2, that's a plus. Because then that means that you're 6-4, I believe, if I just did that math right.
Yeah.
Because you were 4-2, which is still over 500 for the Jets. But if they win 3 games, if they go and beat Denver, beat New England, probably not beat Buffalo, and then beat New England again, you're 7-3. Man, I will lose my freaking mind if we're 7-3 after this 4 game stretch. Now, Denver and the Chargers are playing right now. They went into halftime, a very boring game again, 13-10. I need Herbert to pick it up. I need starting to pick it up already because I want to confirm I beat Aaron. There's no way I lose this, and if I lose this, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like right
I
now,
know. I saw that. It was crazy.
I'm looking at this. I'm like, all I really need is about 10 points from Herbert and 8 from Sutton. There's like, how do I not get that? I don't know, but they need to step it up. Herbert, Eckler scored, which is a good thing for Eckler owners. But Herbert looks weird. I don't know. I think that rib injury is really getting to him now because I'm not seeing good throws from him. It's starting to scare me, but we'll get more into that. But yeah, we got Chargers and Broncos halftime, 13-10. The Yankees was supposed to play their game 5 today, but it got postponed. Is delayed to
Which I'm
tomorrow.
happy about.
So I'm not happy about it because that means the winner
is it-
plays Houston on Wednesday. You get no rest.
But does that not help? Because we were supposed to face them on Wednesday at all. Like that was the original plan.
You face the winner of this game faces Houston on
I
Wednesday.
forget. But I forget the playoff schedule. Were we facing Houston originally? I
What are you
mean,
talking about?
we're facing Houston on Wednesday. On Wednesday originally.
That's
Or
what I
was it?
said. The winner faces Houston on Wednesday.
Okay, but you're not getting my question.
I'm not
Was
getting it.
the game was postponed, so it wasn't moved from Tuesday to Wednesday,
No,
No.
or it
I
was
don't know
always
that.
Wednesday.
No. It was always Wednesday
Okay, that's what I
because
was asking.
no, it's always Wednesday because that's why they took so long to postpone this game. They
Yeah,
kept delaying it, but now the Yankees have to play Tuesday. And if the Yankees win, that's the big if because they should have been won this series. But
yeah.
if they win this game, they have to go to Houston the very next day. So we have a win or go home scenario. We're gonna use every pitcher we possibly have, and then go face Houston game 1 with a weak bullpen after using all of them to win the game 5. Doesn't look good to start off against Houston. I don't like our odds anyways because Houston just looks very good. Not great that this game got postponed, but it is what it is. Okay, Chris, your time to shine. Everybody had you had the biggest spread in your game. Tampa was favored 8 points to beat the Steelers. I'm not gonna lie, I was part of that group that thought they were gonna blow you guys out. And you lost three stars on the defensive end, and you guys won. How do you feel?
Hmm. Well, yeah, it feels good. Obviously, I was on that end too. I thought we wasn't gonna win that game as well. I thought it was gonna be a blowout, like facing Tom Brady and the Bucks. But it's always nice to get a win. When you're clearly not the favorites. But I take it more as a blow to the Bucks because they just don't look like that team, like that dominant team that we're used to seeing. And
Yeah.
I think it's more of them than us. As crazy as it sounds, I think they Tom Brady doesn't look good. Everybody's healthy for the first time. Mike Evans, Godwin, Fournette, everybody's
Yeah.
there, but they just don't look good. I don't. It can be because Bruce Arians is not the coach anymore. Um, Now you have Todd Bowles as the coach. I mean, it could be that.
Well,
Um,
Tom Brady doesn't look like he's mentally stable with
yeah,
what's going on, and
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I
and
was gonna say.
that doesn't look good either. But you're totally right.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Giants, the Jets, and the Steelers won, and they were all underdogs, that is a result of great coaching. Now, Mike
Hmm.
Tomlin, this is a Hall of Fame coach. You never count him out. And frankly, we learned, you learn your lesson. You don't
Hmm.
count out Mike Tomlin. He's gonna figure out a way. He has never had a season under 500, so he is a Hall of Fame coach, a great coach, and he game planned well. Like
Hmm.
normally, now the Jets and Giants have these are frankly newer coaches, and it shows that winning these games is good coaching. Robert Sala went on to all the media and told them week 2. He said, I'm getting all these receipts and I can't wait to shove it down your throat." Zach Wilson came back and he's 3-0 so far. He's not doing much, and we still haven't got the answer if he's our quarterback for the future. We still haven't got that yet because, he doesn't have to throw 5 touchdowns and 500 yards. Brees Hall and this defense is making it easy for him, which I love.
It's funny because the Giants and the Jets are winning with the run. Like it's our running
Yeah.
backs that are doing it for us, and it's so funny. If and we're doing it with our wide receivers though. I wish I had the situation that you guys have, where we're just using our running backs to win the game. But if we wanted to, we could use our nice wide
And,
receivers.
and that's the excitement because the fact that you have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and then Corey Davis as your 3, and then plus and then Barrios as your 4, like you have when it was time to get a first down, Zach threw the first down. He had a nice long bomb, like it was like 35-yard pass to Corey Davis on the run, which it killed the momentum because that's what the Green Bay just scored on us. So it killed their momentum. So it was a great play by Zach Wilson. I'm not saying he's playing bad. What I'm saying is we haven't had that answer yet. But if the Jets keep winning like this, I'm not complaining. Zach Wilson is gonna have moments where if he needs to win the game for us, that's where he shows it. Either he is the quarterback or he's not. It's gonna be shown this year. I think we're gonna find an answer really quickly. But Brees Hall, I'm just excited. Right now, the betting odds for offensive player of the year and defensive rookie player of the year, Sauce Gardner and Brees Hall. It is just that's the odds right now, and I love it because it just shows that the GM had great draft picks. I'm so excited to see what this talent does because if they can make a nice run, this is the same team for next year. They're just getting better. Now, my one issue that apparently Robert Sala fixed it with Elijah Moore, but we all know, and we're going to talk about it. Elijah Moore tweeted that he is upset that he's not getting targets. Now, I was very
I was
upset
gonna
about that.
retweet it.
Yeah, I was very upset about it because as a fantasy owner, yeah, you don't like it, but as a Jet fan first, I didn't like it because you kill the momentum. You can kill the momentum of your team. You can make Zach Wilson feel like he has to throw you the ball a million times and he can force an into and force passes that he shouldn't be forcing. And now the Jets have been a laughing stock for multiple, multiple years. You're 4-2 in the month of September and October when you haven't won a game in September in 3 seasons, and you haven't won a divisional game in 2 years, and you're complaining about not getting the ball, and you're 4-2. I was so mad. I was so mad. And Robert Sala apparently fixed it, and the mistakes happen. Blah blah. Please do not let this be the reason why Zach Wilson throws the ball 50 million times to Elijah Moore, and he throws 2 picks because of it. Because by the way, Zach Wilson, no intos this game, no intos last game. He has been a solid quarterback. Solid start. Against Miami, he has thrown no intos. Against Green Bay, no intos. He doesn't have to take that many shots.
That's all coaching, man. I'm telling you. Even Daniel Jones, 3 straight games, no intos. I've been most surprised out of that one.
Yeah,
But
the only thing that he had was just that fumble at halftime, so it doesn't really count. It hit the
yeah,
stat line, but that didn't count. He was gonna take a shot.
and that
That's
one
the only
and that
thing.
one into he actually did have 4 games ago against Dallas wasn't even his fault. The receiver got injured during the route and was never
Yeah.
there to catch the ball. So
Well,
I'm actually
well,
happy with what he's doing.
well. Listen, great win from all three of our teams. Uh, if I had to pick, the most shocking one had to be the Steeler one because literally they had the biggest odds to lose.
Brady's off, man. Brady's just off.
The whole Tampa team is off. I think now is a good time to buy low, probably on Mike Evans and maybe Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is still that target, that PPR target machine, so he's still a great pick. But um, besides that, it's a rough. Leonard Fournette is a beast for that team, and Tom trusts him. But that Tampa team has not done good. But like I said, great wins from our teams. Super excited about what New York is doing right now. Hopefully, the Yankees don't kill our mood. Let's get into fantasy real quick. News and notes. I will hit as much news as I possibly can, and then we'll get into some nice big weeks from our players in fantasy. Starting off with Chris Olave, concussion, taking off injury report. So that means that he could play this Thursday. Uh, Rashad Bateman, close to a return for the Baltimore Ravens. Which, by the way, even though Rashad Bateman hasn't really shown it, like stat wise, Ravens need him to run deep on the field because he's clearly was only hitting Mark Andrews, and Lamar couldn't get no open field. With Rashad Bateman going deep, it'll take the defense down, and a lot more plays can open. So I think they really need Rashad Bateman a lot more than people think because it's not showing on the stat line. Commanders quarterback Carson Wentz, after winning that terrible, disgusting Thursday night game, facing a recovery time of roughly 4 to 6 weeks, and injury reserve is consideration because of his hand. So Tyler Haneke will be the quarterback again for the Commanders. How do we feel? Because now we knew with Carson Wentz, he was targeting Curtis Samuel a lot. But we know with Heineke,
Oh
he
yeah.
throws a million targets to Scary Terry.
Oh, you
So
need
if
got
you're a
balling.
Terry owner, it's exciting.
He's
But if you're
scary
not,
again.
yeah, he could be scary again. But if you are a Curtis Samuel owner, I think my best advice would be to get rid of him and sell him as high as you possibly can. That would be my best advice. Unless you guys feel differently, you guys feel like it's still okay to have Curtis Samuel, or should you bench him 1 week and see how he does? What's the advice that we have?
I think you should. I think you should hold on to him.
Yeah.
Because he's showing a lot of promise. He's been very solid this season for you. So I would just stash him to see what happens.
Okay. Cardinals wide receiver Marquise Brown suffered a potential season-ending foot injury on Sunday. He is undergoing further tests to determine the extent of the injury. So Marquise Brown owners, to be honest, you should have traded him probably this week before this game because with Hawkins coming back, you could have sold him really high and maybe got a nice piece for him. But no one can predict injuries. I just thought that it would be the highest you would have sold them because now D Hop is back and he's probably going to start eating. But it is sad to see Marquise Brown take that type of a shot. With that injury comes with the Robbie Anderson trade. The Cardinals have traded for Panthers wide receiver Robbie Anderson. So he is going to be the new slot guy. He's going to take that Marquise Brown new role because we don't really know what his role is because he was taking the D Hop role. Now with D Hop coming back, Marquise Brown was going to take the other side of the role. So now Robbie's taking this new role, which would have been Marquise Brown role. How do you guys feel about this?
I mean, Robbie Anderson is just like Brown. He's the deep guy. He has more size, I guess. We've seen that this Robbie Anderson roller coaster in the past. Different teams
Yeah.
let's see what he does. And even the first game, like let's say he gets a big bomb and he has a nice 15-20 point game because of that big bomb. Am I all in on him? I don't know. It's just Robbie Anderson's always that roller coaster. And then D Hop is back, so he's the guy right now. I like him in the Cardinals. They need to do
Okay.
something because they suck right now.
Yeah, they're right now, guys. The teams that were dominant last year are not. The Rams don't look the same. Tampa don't look the same. Green Bay don't look the same. Arizona don't look the same. Right now, I think in the NFC, it's clear that Philly is far ahead of everybody else right now.
Everybody
Philly,
else, yeah.
that's a good. We could talk about them later or maybe next episode. But Philly is dominant right now, so dominant. But very interesting. Bucks tight end Cameron Brate was caught off the field with a head injury. Randall Cobb left the Jet game with an injury to he got carted off the field and he was crying. That doesn't really match well. If you're a Romeo Dobbs owner and a Lazard owner, it opens up a lot for them. But if you did have Randall Cobb, it looks like his season might either be an end or he might come back when our fantasy season is over. So
Might be
it
his
doesn't,
career, bro. He's old, man.
yeah, it doesn't look good for him. And um, another thing with that Steeler game, Kenny Pickett left the game with a concussion, and Trubisky came in and he played a hell of a game to end that game. But Kenny Pickett is out with a concussion. With this protocol, he might just miss the next week, depending on what happens with this new protocol and how much more stuff they have to do. I think either way, Kenny Pickett or George or Trubisky at starting quarterback, I think George Pickens is probably the only guy I'll look. Obviously Najee, I guess, but it's still a little shaky for me for that offense. But that is pretty much. Oh, last one. Here we go. The Rams are actively trying to trade running back Cam Akers, and he's unlikely to ever play for LA Rams again. Now, I do not know what happened here, but something went wrong because when I got the notification on Saturday that Akers was out, Darrell Henderson is the #1 guy coming in this week. I was like, I'm still not starting him, but I was like, what happened to Cam Akers? They have personal issues. So now it's clear something happened with the Rams, and they're gonna get rid of him. Now,
He just sucks.
yeah,
They just don't want him.
they just don't want him. And with that, the conversation comes: Christian McCaffrey. The Panthers have been listening to a lot of teams calling. The Rams are supposedly one of the teams that called. I don't even know how they can afford to do this trade, but the Rams called. The Buffalo Bills called. Another team called. I forgot the name, but Buffalo Bills and the Rams for sure I know called. And the Bills made an offer to the Panthers, and Panthers declined it. So the Bills are really active. Now, how do we feel if CMC goes to the Bills?
I don't like it. I don't like it. There's a new star. There's a new star in Buffalo every week. If your name is not Stephon Diggs, like you getting points is I know, but it's CMC, right? You would think
It's Christian
it's
McCaffrey. Do you
CMC.
understand what they have to give up? You're giving up all that draft capital, so you're not going to give him up so he could be Devil Singletary type of fantasy points. I think he's going to get really involved, and the fact that Buffalo is always scoring, this might benefit him actually. Like,
Yeah, I can see them doing it because it's worth it to give up all that draft capital because they're
they're
in
all in.
they're in the
Because they wanna
situation
win.
that
Yeah.
the Rams were in last year. They're all in. They're like, I don't care what it takes. We'll give you
We're
whatever
winning-
it takes because we're
winning the
winning
Super
right
Bowl.
now.
Yeah,
They
they're all
won the
in.
Super Bowl.
They're
They're
all
doing
in.
the same thing, yeah.
I
And
mean,
if you tell me
I
to
hope
pick a-
you're right. I hope you're right. I
No,
got CMC 2 leagues. Literally,
no,
I got CMC in 2
I hear
leagues.
you.
So
No,
trust me.
it's crazy, but literally, like, the Bills. If I had to pick a team right now that is the best team in the NFL, I'm saying the Bills. Even though Philly's 6-0, I love Jalen Hurts. I love him because I have him as a fantasy quarterback, and I just love the way he plays. But if you're going head to head, Josh Allen is just different, bro. He's just different. But I would take the Bills, especially if they get CMC. I think it's
I think
he's
it's GG
given-
after that. I think it's done after that. Yeah.
yeah. You pretty much give it to them.
I think if CMC goes over there and he starts balling out, like, and I think it's a better situation for him as well. I think he's more of a workhorse in the Panthers, as in like it's him. It's the Carolina CMCs, where in Buffalo he will be part of a team. It won't be all on him, and injury wise, that'll bode very well for him.
Oh, definitely. All right.
Yeah, and he's old too, so spend your last few years in Buffalo.
Hey, go win a chip because you're gonna
Yeah,
win one.
spend your last 3-4 years in Buffalo.
Yeah,
Win at least 2 chips.
You too good to not have a ring, man. CMC is
Yeah.
too nice.
He's so good. He's so damn good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some nice big weeks from some big players, some big time players. Let's start off with the running backs. The running backs this week.
Yes.
Um,
Just to let you know, I have the list of every position, top 5, top 10, whatever you need.
I got it. All right. So at number 1, finishing at running back 1 so far, unless Eckler scores 5 touchdowns this week. This guy, I forgot his first name, Deion Jackson from the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor was ruled out. Nyheim Hines was ruled out. This guy was a great pickup, and he finished 28.1 fantasy points. He had himself a day. He had 12 attempts for 42 yards rushing, a touchdown, and then he had 10 targets with 10 receptions for 79 yards receiving. He had himself a day in full PPR leagues. Number 2, my start of the week, Ramondre Stevenson with the New England Patriots. He had the full workload. He only gave a They only did not give him the ball at the very end when they were winning 35-10 or whatever the score. They dismantled the Browns.
we
So
we gotta keep this guy good, man.
the
Sit him down.
Ramondre and Damian Harris is out for multiple weeks, so I'm loving this. Stevenson finished number 2, 25.1 points, had himself a beautiful day. 19 carries for 72 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 4 receptions, 15 yards. Great day for him. Number 3, the guy we just talked about who could possibly get traded, Christian McCaffrey. He finished 28.8 points, 22.8 points, 13 carries, 69 yards. And then the stuff that I love about him always, 8 targets, 7 receptions, 89 yards. What a freaking day.
No touchdowns for 23
No
points. You love
touchdowns.
it.
Lenny Fournette, the only guy right now in Tampa that you trust with all your heart. Lenny Fournette, 21 carries, 63 yards on the receiving end, 6 targets, 6 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown. And finishing at number 5, Breece Hall, baby. He carried the Jets that game. He had 20 carries, 116 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, and then he caught 2 receptions for 2 targets for 5 yards. But he didn't have to do anything else. He took over this backfield. And quickly, just a side note, Elijah Moore is complaining about not getting targets. Michael Carter lost his job immediately to Breece Hall. And you don't see him tweeting about it. You know why? Because they're winning. Stop being so selfish. You're a team. But
Team game, man. It's a team game.
Team game, baby. That is the top 5 running backs on that week. Big notes. Jonathan Taylor should be back, but if you are a Jonathan Taylor owner, I think if you did pick up Deion Jackson, keep him because you never know. But if you did not pick him up, see if the owner drops him or try to target him for cheap. Say, hey, I got Chase Edmonds or something. You know, I trade you a backup for a backup. You know, try to get that in, but literally, I think you should target him because that is an interesting thing. So let's get into wide receivers. Before I start off with the number 1 wide receiver of the week, my bold prediction was that Ja'Marr Chase had 100+ yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. And I don't know, man. Woo, that's a lot of money right there if I was to put mine down there. That's 10 targets for 7 receptions, 132 yards from Ja'Marr Chase, and 2 freaking touchdowns.
From
Quickly,
the number 1 quarterback in fantasy right now.
The number 1 quarterback in fantasy last week as well. Joe Burrow, we'll get into that as well. Chris, Ja'Marr Chase, breakout game. How do you feel right now with his breakout game? Finally, he went crazy.
I mean, feel good. I mean, it was expected. Obviously, yeah, obviously he had a slow start, but like you said, it was expected. He wasn't gonna be this bad for too long, especially with the connection he has with Burrow.
Yeah.
The Bengals also started off slow, but they're picking it up, and now you're going to see from here on out. You're gonna see big games from Ja'Marr Chase again going forward.
So you gotta trust him, and you wouldn't sell high as you can for him.
I mean, depending on your situation.
Yeah.
After this breakout game, you definitely could sell high for him.
Definitely could, right?
But if you're looking good and you're feeling good, definitely keep him.
No. And the number 2 guy, which by the way, Chris, if you would have pulled that trade off, you see how many points that guy got? Number 2, Stefon Diggs, 30.8 points in fantasy. He's just a beast. 13 targets. You see, this is what I love about it. Like, no matter how many people you put on the Bills, Diggs is gonna get his.
That's
13
that's
targets.
exactly what I said. Yeah.
13 targets, 10 receptions for 148 yards.
Well, I
receiving.
mean, when Josh Allen throws 60 times a game, I mean,
And you're getting
what do
most
you
of those
expect?
throws.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, Stefon Diggs, what a monster. The fact that Andrew has Ja'Marr Chase, Stefon Diggs, and Austin Eckler because of that bogus trade, his team is pretty deadly right now.
Yeah.
Number three, Tyreek Hill from the Miami Dolphins, 15 targets, 12 receptions, 177 yards, no touchdowns. He had himself a day on the Vikings defense, even though they lost and the Jets are up. But Tyreek Hill, great game for Tyreek Hill. Number 4. Chris, can I ask you a question? Did you look at who was number 4? Like, do you know who's the top 5 or who's in the top 5?
No, I didn't look at it yet.
I mean, okay. Brandon Ayuk, number 4.
Okay, I figured.
Brandon
Yeah, he had a
Ayuk,
game.
28.3 points for San Fran. He had 11 targets from Jimmy G, 8 receptions, 83 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns.
And he's the only one that scored, right? In that game.
I believe I know George Kittle had a great game. I don't know if he scored though.
No, I think Ayuk's on. He scored twice. Ayuk.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you're right.
the only
Only
one that
2.
scored. Yeah.
Only 2. What a game from Brandon Ayuk. And to finish at number 5, oh my God, my other wide receiver star of the week, because I needed him to do great. Michael Pittman Jr., number 5. He had 16 targets for 13 yards receiving, 13 receptions for 134 yards receiving. No touchdowns. If he had a touchdown, he finishes really high. He finishes even higher. But 26.4 yards. You feel confident about it. Matt Ryan had a great game as well. You love that he targeted Michael Pittman so much. And just to make you feel good, Chris, the number 6 guy, Chase Claypool, had a game.
What a guy.
Had a game. It's just remarkable how some of these players just come up and just have big weeks. Let's go quarterbacks real quickly. Number 1, Joe Burrow had himself a great day, 38.5 yards. It was just monstrous for that guy against the Saints. 300 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and he even rushed a touchdown. It was Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase City. Number 2, Matt Ryan, 33.16 points against Jacksonville. Matt Ryan went bonkers with a game-finishing touchdown to C's wide receiver start of the week, Alec Pierce. That touchdown saved him, but great start. Number 3, Josh Allen. We mentioned already, Josh Allen. Nothing to say. He's just a monster. Number 4, this is the guy I want to talk about. Marcus Mariota against the San Francisco 49ers. He had himself a day on the rushing side.
I thought, wait, isn't Lawrence 4?
No, Marcus Mariota is 4 on my list.
Oh, all right.
Marcus is 4 on my list. He is 129 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns, and then he rushed for 50 yards and he scored another touchdown. Had a great week. Number 4, Trevor Lawrence, 26.9 points. Had a great week. Oh, my bad. I got distracted from Aaron texting. Trevor Lawrence had a good solid week, but they still ended up taking the L. But he had 165 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and he rushed for 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence was doing it all. And then number 6, just to make some people feel good, Patrick Mahomes. Number 7, by the way, can we talk about this real quick? Bailey Zappi from New England Patriots had himself a big day. Now he's 2-0 coming into New England. Mac Jones could possibly lose his job here.
I mean, if they keep winning with him, it's the same thing with Cooper Rush. The only difference is Zappi's doing it, like he's doing it. Like he is like, this man is putting in the work and winning this team football games. So you have to look at that. I mean, there's no way you can't look at that. I mean, you can't just say, wow, this guy is amazing, but he's the backup. So Mac Jones, get in there. It's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, no, I think this is a real competition. I think that this might be a real problem if Zappi was to win again as well. Let's go to the tight ends.
And a dominant faction too. It wasn't even like he's winning close games. Like they're spanking
He threw
people.
for over 300 yards. He had a great game. Tight ends. Number 1, Chris's favorite tight end. No, it's C's favorite tight end. Michael Gesicki, 24.9 points fantasy. Had himself a big day.
Don't buy into that. Don't buy into that. I said it last time he had a good game. Don't buy into it, because last time he had a good game, he had 3-point games straight. So don't buy into this.
Which, by the way, Tua Tagovailoa should be ready to go this week. So he is back into the quarterback position. Number 2, Mark Andrews, the normal beast, was all over the Giants defense. He had a great game. It's too bad they lost. 23.6 points for Mark Andrews. Had a bomb week. Number 3, the normal, Travis Kelce. Another great week for Travis. 19.2 points in fantasy. Number 4, Robert Tonyan. This stat line is crazy. since the Jets were covering all the wide receivers, Rodgers just threw to Tunyon. Tunyon had 12 targets for 10 receptions for 90 yards. That was his day. He had a day against the Jets, and it just stinks because all those yards just take an L. It's so uncheesy. All right, number 5, George Kittle. 16.3 points, a great comeback week for George Kittle. George Kittle finally has a good game, guys. So now I want to talk about him. Finally has a good game. Are we confident in George Kittle for the rest of the season?
No, maybe I just confident maybe in his matchups. Um, just seeing who he's playing, what defense he's playing that week. And then you could go based off that, but I wouldn't scratch him into the lineup every week confidently right now.
How about you, C?
I like him. I'm not confident. I do like him in the fact that, Garoppolo is there. They're throwing more. And if he continues to play, is he continuing to show that he's healthy and that he's just getting better every week? Then, yeah, the confidence will grow. But right now, not confident. More that I like him.
Okay.
More than anything.
If you are a George Kittle owner, how you think you should trade him, or you think you should hold him? Is my
But that's the
question.
thing with tight ends. Who you trading him for? Besides Kelsey and Andrews, let's be honest. Who you trading him for?
Yo, Kyle Pitts had a great game. I told you guys to start him. I was just
Who
joking.
you trading him for? Let's not get out of subject here because you just threw some trash on my screen when you said that. Listen, in the tight end position is scarce. If you don't have Travis or Andrews, you're putting a tight end out there and you're hoping. You're playing for matchup. You're playing for whatever it is. Kittle has the skill. Kittle has the name power. The Kittle has a big ceiling, a high ceiling. So
yeah.
so just run with him. Just run with him. Honestly, if you have Kittle
Run
and
with
he's
him.
healthy, just run with him because honestly, like I said, without Andrews and Kelsey, who else is there at tight end position? I'm over here. I start a new tight end every week in my job league. I started Henry this week. Ended up working out for me, but like that position is a streamer position if you don't have Andrews or Kelsey, in my opinion. And Kittle could just be in there week to week and just pray at that point.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about a couple of dumbs or duds. I said dumbs. A couple of duds. I'm gonna start off with the first guy I see right here on my list. It's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Back-to-back stinkers, and we said sell high. Now you're stuck with him because I don't think you're gonna get much for him. And if someone trades you, like I would take Clyde Edwards-Helaire if I give you, like I would say, give me Chase Edmonds and you can take Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I would do that trade. I would trade.
Chase Edmond was the name that I thought. I'm like, yo, you want Chase Edmond? I'll take CH.
That's what I'm saying. But that's where his peak was. Now it was at the fact that Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You could have said Travis Etienne, which by the way had another solid game. You could have said Aaron Jones. You could have said AJ Dillon, and you could have got somebody like that for that type of caliber of player. Now CH is bad. Now it doesn't look good. Any comments about CH right now?
No, he's just he's just bad. I mean, we talked about it early in the season when he was doing great. We said that this wasn't gonna last, that he wasn't gonna keep up this type of production. And we were right. And now it's to the point, like you say, you're stuck with him. Unless he has another breakout game next week, then at that point, then you could say, all right, let's see what I can get for him. But as of right now, you're stuck with him.
Right now you have 2 bad weeks, so it doesn't look good. J.K. Dobbins, Kenyon Drake look good, and I don't know if I will ever say. I don't think I'll ever say those words again. Kenyon Drake had 10 carries for 115 yards rushing. He ran all over the Giants.
Yeah, I think that's more of him facing the Giants than anything. The Giants, they're not good with the run. They're not good at all with the run. Honestly,
but my point is J.K. Dobbins was number 1 running back, and then he did only 1 carry for 15 yards, and Kenyon Drake took all the carries. So J.K. Dobbins, you drafted him, expecting him that when he's healthy and he's back into the fold. Yeah. Now there's a problem. J.K. Dobbins, if you have him, I think you put him on your bench until he's proven otherwise. He doesn't look good right now for the Ravens. I think Kenyon Drake is a real problem for this Raven team. For J.K. Dobbins, I think that's a problem for him. So I think for J.K., you should sit him until further notice. Another dud, Nick Chubb had a bad week finally. So I think it was just I think it was just a bad week. You know, this was normally what Chubb would do last year. Was rush for 80 yards. That's it. No touchdown. Kareem Hunt would get all the attention. But Kareem Hunt even had a worse game. So let's talk about Kareem Hunt. I think Nick Chubb, you're safe. You're starting him. I don't think you have to worry too much about him. Kareem Hunt, we was high on him. I liked him to be a nice, solid guy. If I went wide receiver with the draft first and I waited to the end, what's the concerns of Kareem Hunt? What are we doing with him? Is he a drop candidate?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say drop. Cause if Chubb loses, if Chubb's, he's one of those handcuffs that is like a Alexander Madison. If Chubb is gone, this guy's gonna ball out and he's gonna get 20+ points guaranteed, in my opinion. But as of right now, while Chubb is there, he's like the dominant ball carrier. So he is a sit candidate. Yeah, I would say if you have Chubb, if you have Kareem Hunt, see if you have better wide receivers or running back that you can put in the flex position because he's not it.
Wow. The more I'm looking at the score, Herbert and Sutton are just being bums right now. This is like the craziest thing in the world right
But
now.
you know what it is that it's prolific right now with the Broncos games. Like it don't matter who they're facing, I guess. It's just gonna be a low scoring game where one or two touchdowns. Like it's actually
I literally thought
annoying.
that I would get at least one passing touchdown from Justin Herbert, and now whatever, man.
Eckler took it. Yeah.
It is what it is at this point. It doesn't look good for me at this point. I went from having an 88% chance, and now I have a 37% chance of
I
winning.
mean, I don't mind it, so I'll be by myself up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shut the hell up. Well, we still got a whole quarter left.
Yeah.
Either Sutton catches me a touchdown or Herbert
Yeah.
throws a
No,
touchdown.
it's
Hopefully, I get something. But yeah, so Kareem Hunt is a very big concern of mine. I don't I don't like his situation right now. You can't trade him, but I guess like you said, you can't really drop him. But I don't like what he did. Um,
I would trade for him if you would take a backup for a backup type of thing.
what kind of backup?
Like like Chase
Chase
Edmonds or
Chase Evans is involved
like
in everything.
like, nobody wants him. I mean Chase Edmonds is a good backup as well if Mostert gets hurt, but at the same time it's like I'd rather have Kareem Hunt if Chubb gets hurt. That's in
Yeah.
that opinion.
So another guy to talk about. DK Metcalf had a very bad week in Seattle, and they won 19-9. DK Metcalf only had 5.4 points fantasy. Um,
It's a
I
field
think
goal
you.
game.
Yeah, I think I
Field
think
goal.
you should be. I think you'll be okay. Wide receivers have bad weeks. Cortland Sutton's about to give me his first bad week, so it's it's not fun. You just gotta just remain confident in your guys. Um, all these people picked up this tight end expecting him to do what he did last week. Taysom Hill, a big bust this week. You can't keep writing what
Nah,
people
you
did
can't.
last week
No.
into your lineups. Because if you're gonna drop Taysom Hill this week, pick up Mike Gesicki to start him, and he's gonna give you 0 points. You're just right. You have to find somewhere of a consistency
That's
where you
funny.
can get something. So it stinks, but Taysom Hill only gave you 4.5 points in fantasy as your tight end. So he gave you a really, really bad week. And altogether, it wasn't a great week for fantasy wise for not a lot of people. It was mostly receiving yards and not many touchdowns.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, Another one, Elijah Moore, 0 receptions, 0 catches. I've been saying it week in and week out. Bench him until proven otherwise. Garrett Wilson had a bad week fantasy wise. Wasn't good. Um, yeah, it's not much. MVS gave you a donut for the Chief game against the Bills. That's enough for me to drop him. If he gave you 0 points against that Bill matchup, I'm dropping him. I'm sorry. Juju Smith had a great game. Finally, maybe you have some hope in Juju, but MVS is a drop in my opinion. I'm done with him. Done.
yeah. Juju caught a touchdown, I believe, if I'm not
Juju
mistaken.
had Juju had a monster game. 5 receptions for 113 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, it was a great game. Even though, that wasn't a game where you're like, wow, I need to start Juju because any team, I don't care who you are, facing the Buffalo Bills defense is not a great matchup.
Nope, and it's not a great matchup. Christian Kirk got saved by a touchdown, but only still gave 10 points. Now, I
Yeah.
think there's a concern level with Christian Kirk. We was very happy about how he started. He started off really hot. His last 3 games, 8 points, 2 points, 10 points, and only 2 receptions, 1 reception, 4 receptions. How do we feel about this? Because next week he goes against the Giants. I don't like his. He goes against the Giants, Denver Raiders. It's not
Trade him.
really For what? He's not doing good right now.
He's not
What can you
doing
get?
good, but you can say, oh, he's the number one receiver. You know, you can try to sell it, but at the same time, you probably get mid players for him. Nothing. It's not a high or low candidate in my opinion. You get a mid player. I don't like his matchup too. Me personally, I wouldn't trade for him unless you're selling low, like lower than he is. But yeah, Christian Kirk don't have a good matchup coming up. The
He,
next 3 games.
he has a couple of bad matchups. So like he got the Giants, Denver, then the Raiders, okay, Chiefs, okay, Baltimore, okay, Detroit, okay, and then Tennessee, Dallas, Jets, then Houston. And then he has he has some good matchups. I think he's a matchup guy at this point. I don't think he's a. At first, we
Yeah.
said automatic wide receiver 1 starter. Now, not even wide receiver 2. Now he's flex, maybe flex. Now his title
Yeah.
just dropped lower and lower. So it's very interesting of how bad he's actually been. Can we just talk about how Daryl Mooney actually had a decent game in fantasy for once? 13 points.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and he actually could have had even better if he would have caught that ball in the end zone to win the game last week. But you know, it is what it is. Still a decent game.
Now, another big thing going on in Denver. This is gonna make me lose in my job league. Melvin Gordon has 0.8 points right now after 3 full quarters, and Latavius Murray is
Yeah.
leading the backfield with 8 carries
He's
for
there though.
37 rushes.
Every freaking play I see him, like it's crazy.
So
Boone has 0 points. Boone and Gordon. So if Murray comes in his team, it's his team now. I don't understand.
it's a lot of questions.
Don't like
Melvin
to ride with
Gordon,
the Broncos.
Melvin Gordon is literally right now in the duds. He's not gonna pick this up unless he gets a big run. I don't
Sure.
know what's going on with Denver. We're gonna have to look into after this game. I don't know if it's because he was questionable and they gave him a time thing, but Latavius Murray just took over the backfield in this game. Very, very big concerns about Melvin Gordon. Mike Williams, 1 reception and 8 yards. I definitely lost in my job league because those are my 2 guys on my starting team. I lost.
I know.
Like, what is going on? Like, this Denver is just toxic right now. Anybody who they play, the team. That's why I love that. I love that.
I could have lost too if Judy wasn't doing bad as well, facing my dad in Aaron's league.
It's like it's this Denver team. They just give like a toxic energy. Can Cortland Sutton catch a ball for God's sake? I just can't do it anymore. Like it's so frustrating. Like who wants to lose to Aaron? I don't want to lose to him.
No,
Like I
me
can't stand
either.
him. But whatever. Listen, you know, we went through as much as we went through. We hit the 1 o'clock hour already. I mean the 1 hour mark. So we're gonna end it there, and we're gonna go and talk about a lot more things, a lot more players you could probably target, pick up, like Latavius Murray, because this guy led the backfield. I think he's a top option in the waivers to pick up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But there's a lot more to get into.
You pick him up, and then Gordon's the top.
And then Mike Boone come out of nowhere.
Mike
And guess,
Boone. I'm telling you, right, this team,
and
bro.
then you start Russell Wilson, and they bring in the backup somehow for some reason.
I started him this week because I had no choice. Like,
I
Oh,
started him
Sutton
too.
got a touchdown.
You're lying.
No, he didn't.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yo, that's crazy.
Listen, bro, I have him too
He's
in,
just
in
mad
Aaron's league.
that the Owen 55 Ishmael actually beat him,
Yo,
and he had his first win.
He's done, bro.
Bro,
Yo,
hold on. Can I read my players' stats for you real quick?
Nope.
Yo, let me show you this, bro. The only person on my team to get 20 points was Jalen Hurts. The only person.
Are you really gonna ignore Travis Kelce? 19 points? Like you serious?
Yeah, I said the only person to get 20. I wasn't talking about 19. I'm talking about 20.
But he's right there. It's 1 point.
No, he said
Aaron Jones 7, Mostert 5, Jefferson 16, Brown 17, Jeff Wilson 0.5.
Jeff Wilson. Yeah, Jeff Wilson and Aaron.
Look, and then it's not even like I couldn't even start anyone on my bench. ETN 12, Pickens 5, Robinson 12, Duvernay 2,
no matter what.
Elijah Mitchell IR. Like what the
No matter what, bro, you lost.
And you don't have Jefferson next week. You have to plug in Hopkins for Jefferson. So that's how it works.
Cordell Patterson IR.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think you gotta throw the towel.
Like, bro, I'm gonna throw the whole bathtub.
You have to literally win the same. Throw the toaster in the bathtub.
Oh my god! Like it's one of those years for you, and it's nothing you can do. And he could trade Justin Jefferson, but like, what you gonna get for him?
And then I lost in Aaron's league too. So yeah, I'm out of it, bro.
Why Judy got 8 points? And I can't. Like, I'm frustrated with this team. All of a sudden, I'm down to 7 points. I'm not this 7
Judy's the
projection.
guy, bro.
Yeah, Judy. Don't shut up.
Put it up to the text.
Judy is not no guy. I
And
can't believe it.
you need 11 points. Yeah, you need 11 points.
Bro, that's literally like 2 or 3 catches.
So all you need is like a touchdown.
I need a drive from Herbert.
You need a
the
touchdown from
beginning,
Herbert.
I need
Yeah.
a drive and a touchdown,
Yeah.
and I win the game, and I can shove it in Aaron's throat. But now this doesn't look like it now. Hey, wait.
Pause.
Okay.
This has been JNC's podcast.
All right, guys. We're gonna hit you guys back up in the next episode. Great win for the New York Sports, and I wish we could have said today Yankees won, but cannot. Which, by the way, Nasty Nestor is now the starter tomorrow since he got the day off because of the rain delay. So maybe you like it, maybe you don't, because now who's pitching game 1 against the Astros if we win? No idea. Okay.
Severino?
All right, so we'll hit you guys back up. Great New York wins, guys. Good Steeler win. Fantasy, a very slow week for fantasy in general. Let's go, Herbert. Let's go, Herbert. Get me this win. Let's go, baby. We'll hit you guys back up. JC, Chris, C, J, U. Let's go, baby. Woo.